Good evening, techies. In today interview insight session, we'll see about how to impress the client. So we'll see client interview mastery for a senior professionals. We are finding a gap at a client round. So we may clear on the technical round, technical one, technical two, coding round, and the client round also. We are feeling like client will select us and we are waiting for a call. Sometimes it may be put on a hold. What was the reason we'll discuss? So how to impress the client, we'll see it. Okay, so as I told you, the technical skills are important. Apart from that one, you need to showcase how you are going to be show the insight of the technology, insight of the technical skills. Okay, so they are going to be evaluated on decision quality in the interview. So let us start here. If you observe in the job market, right, freshers going to be take from a colleges or institutes. But if you see the job market, we are having the 2+ years of experience every day. I mean, if you want to switch from today, if I see in the market, I can see 2+years. I mean, 2+3+4+5, 10, like that. Daily, we're having the job market because companies are requires the senior persons. Because at a senior level, they didn't hire the skill, they are hired the risk reducers. What it means? As a senior person, you are not only delivery the task, you will be take the business ownership, module ownership, and you are going to be manage the risk. That is the reason companies hires the senior persons. So our interview insight is targeted for the senior professionals who is having 2+years of experience. Okay. So not only the task delivery, business ownership is important. So as you are working professional, right? We know we are coming to the March. It's a March year end. We are in the performance appraisal period. Am I correct? Please unmute and tell me.
Yeah, yes.
So we are in the performance appraisal period. So in the month of April, I mean, few companies will do from Jan to December, few companies will do from financial cycle like April to March. Okay. In the starting month of a cycle, they are going to be check and give the some goals. So in this year, I'm going to be achieve 90% of so and so task. End of the year, we need to be give like in the end of the cycle month, we need to give like, okay, I have achieved so and so 90% or 95% or 100%. Correct? The percentage of evaluation is very important. So client will focus on the percentage of evaluation. Okay. I will showcase you what is mean by percent of evaluation. So while you are attending the client round, the client will focusing on three areas. Not only the client technical rounds also will focus, but they will focusing on the two areas. One is your coding thinking, second one is your production thinking. But the client prospect too, they are going to be check 3 points. One is your coding level, but they are not going to be test in depth. Next one is the system level. Next one is the production level. In the client point of view, a person is a business. A person is a business. In this term, they will call it as a code cost, system cost, production cost. In the production, again, two costs will come. One is the deployment cost. Second one is change request cost. As a developer, we are think like a production deployment, change request. In terms of the business, they are going to be check deployment cost and a production cost. While you are facing a client round, you need to be focusing on these points. Okay, so client will focusing on these points. You also need to focus on these points. In general, while you are attending a client train, the first question, tell me about yourself. Next, they will ask about your project. Next, roles and responsibilities. Am I correct? Hope our friends already attending the interview site. Am I correct or not? Next, they are attending. They will ask about challenges you have been faced. Next, they will ask about some technical questions. If it is the client round, is the technical or and some non-technical questions which is related to your day activities. Okay. If they are focusing on some technical questions, please be focusing on these points. So if you answer any question, you need to be think architecture level thinking. Next, trade-off discussions. Next, performance and scalability awareness. Do you have or not? Next, design patterns. Next, security and productions. Next, handling production constraints. I mean, while you are answering to questions of a client, you need to be focusing on these points. Okay. Next, you need to be focusing on this key insight. You need to explain why you have choose something, not just what you built, what it means. Okay. For example, client will ask what type of authentication has been implemented in our project. Anybody face this question? Yeah, please unmute yourself. Anybody face this question? What type of authentication or authorization is implemented? So in general, we will answer like yes, in our project, token based authentication has been implemented. Token we are getting from the API, storing on a client side and sending back to a API. Once the token is expired, we will refresh the token. Am I correct? Yeah, please unmute. This is the way we will answer, right?
Yes.
But this is the perfect answer. Okay. But remember, while you are answering the client, you need to be explain why you have been choose something, not just about you built. So we have been developed the so and so token based authentication. But what we need to focus here is the point. For example, in the same context, you need to be explained like we have been choose JWT token based authentication and you have been explained very well. You need to be add like in general we have the different type of authentications. One is like basic authentication using username and password. Second type of authentication token based authentication if your application having the APIs. Third type of authentication is single sign on. Next type of authentication is OAuth, open authorization. So out of these authentications, my project is a front end with the API, so we have chosen token based authentication. Next, if your project is internal application, you need to be answered like my project is internal application for the within the company, like a my HR. That is the reason we have chosen for single sign-on. That will be more clear. Now I have given a clear answer. If the question is related to the authentication, yeah, can you say if everybody is so silent today? Everybody in the Friday mood. So that is what we need to answer for any question. Okay. Next, I told you client will call this one as a code cost. What is mean by code cost means so client point of view, business point of view, they will say cost, cost, cost. Coding cost means for a feature. What is the development period? How many developers are required? For one developer, what will be the cost? Next, system level. They are going to be maintain a code which is developed by the developer. So maintaining of the code, we required a version like a Git. Earlier we are using TSS, VSS, TFS. So different type of version controls. Next, they need to be allocate some servers to you, either virtual missions or the missions which is required for the QA team, development, those things. Those will be the cost. Production cost. So production in the sense deployment cost. Once deployment is completed, we may face some issues. So for that issues also, we require some change request. That change request also they will be treated as change request cost. So everything is the cost only. Okay. So while you are explaining, focusing on these three areas. If the client not ask on these three areas also, you need to be include in your explanation. Okay. So next important one is the roles and responsibilities. In the first technical interview, in the client, they will focusing on your roles and responsibility. What was the role you have been performing in your last project, or what is the role you are currently performing, and what is the business outcome of that role? What is the role you are performing, and what is the business outcome? Okay, you must remember these two things. So responsibility to the impact, impact to the metric, metric to the business outcome. For example, in general, if you're asking what are your roles and responsibilities as a developer, let me tell you how the in general persons will answer and how we need to answer after our interview insights. So in general, if you're asking for a front-end developer, if the person is a React.js, what will be the answer? So as a front-end developer, I'm going to get the designs from a designer UX team, and I also having experience. Next, I'm going to be develop for that code. I'm going to be integrating the API. I'm attending the daily calls. I'm going to be go for a code review, code check-in, and deployment. In this process, the roles you have been given clear roles, no issues, nothing. Perfectly, you have answered. But the way we are explaining currently is as a developer you are working, as a senior person you are working, but you have not owned the module. For example, in general, you are telling like I worked on API development. Instead, say like I own backend performance optimization, reduced API latency. Sorry, let me clear this drawing. So API latency by 35% and improved production stability. So such a way we need to be answered. For a front-end developer, what type of mistakes we'll do? I will explain in the next slide. Let me show you here. As a front-end developer, while you are answering, for example, I worked on performance improvements. In general, we will answer. Instead, you need to be answer as the better version here. Own front-end performance optimization by implementing a code splitting under lazy loading, reducing initial load time by 42%, which improved user retention by 18%. What it means? Simply I have improved the performance. Same. The answer in this way also same. Yesterday we have seen two resumes, right? One resume stating I have the knowledge on React.js, Angular, everything. Second resume stating explanation of the concepts what we have used in the real-time project. So everybody agreed to select the second resume. Okay, so here also you need to be give a perfect answer like simply instead of I worked on, treat it as that is you have owned. I owned front-end performance optimization instead of saying simple I have involved in the performance implementation. Involvement is different from a owning. For example, in a specific case, you have refactored the architecture of a component. So in my day activities, I work for the refactor components. I will work instant. Led React component architecture refactor using reusable hooks and modern design patterns, reducing the code duplication by 30 percentage, 25 to 25 percentage, here 42 percentage. So how to impress the client? You need to mention the percentage. That is important. That is the reason in the first, while starting the session, I asked, right, we are in the performance evaluation period. Starting of the year, we are going to give the goals. End of the year, we are going to allocate the percentage. Even in the Scrum meeting, Scrum Master also will ask about the percentage of completion. Okay. In the business also, while the Scrum Master is projecting to a business stakeholders, they will talk in a percentage. So in the client round, please add this percentage because nowadays, so 2 months, 3 months notice periods are not acceptable. Companies are not accepting. But you need to be impress the client. Sir, if I want to impress the client, I need to go for a third level. Okay, first technical I will clear it. But how to get interview calls? So later I will discuss on from Monday onwards we are having the regular sessions, right? There I will discuss you clearly. So how to get the calls first, and once getting the calls, how to go to the next level and then to a next level of client interview. Okay, so don't worry about that moment. But if you are in the client round, you need to be on. For example, you have owned this one, search engine optimization and server side rendering. So simply we may say like I have worked on the server side rendering. Instead, implemented server side rendering using Next.js. So detailed explanation is required. That detailed explanation should have this owned. So feels like you are a owner of it. They will feel like, okay, this guy not only developed, he is the owner of so on. So such a person we need for our project who own the application. Am I clear? Any questions? Unmute and say, or else you can say in the chat.
Yeah, yeah, this is Sayed.
Yes,
How
I.
to tell the percentage, like on what basis we need to tell?
Yeah. So in the evaluation period, so team lead same with us. Our manager will have the journey along the completion of the during of the year. They know how much amount of percentage we have been work. Correct. But in the client round, client don't know about yourself. Am I correct, Sayed? Whatever the percentage you are going to be give, they will be agree with that because the client never worked till now because you are in the client round, client interview round. Am I correct?
Yeah, yeah.
So simply give like to the client. So while asking these roles and responsibility are the challenges, instead of answering like this, simply say like earlier my application having the so and so amount of time is taken to build. So with this implementation, I have improvement so and so amount. So whatever the percentage of increment, that is fine. But adding the percentage is the trick here to select in that interview. Got it?
Okay, got it. So any random
Yes.
percentage we can
Because
tell, right?
in these five areas, as a front-end developer or a back-end developer, prepare for the few items, 3 to 4 items. Okay. In the responsibilities while you are working, while you are explaining the responsibility, at least try to add 1 or 2 items, even they are not asking also. So and so I have worked for a refactor. Earlier, the duplication was 30%, which makes me to speed because of reducing the duplicate, my application speed up by 25%. That was one of the appreciation which I got from my previous role as well. Correct? So they will not check with your previous manager of the company. Definitely on this one. Simple. Add like that. Because we need to be impressed. So once they impress, right, they will wait for the 3 months notice period or 2 months notice period. Okay. Are you clear, Saya? I'm just going to next one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we are clear on the roles and responsibility. Next, important in the client round or a technical rounds also, you need to be explain at least 2 or 3 challenges. But sometimes we may say like we didn't face any challenges, even though please write down 2 or 3 challenges. In my upcoming sessions, I will explain and I will give you 2 or 3 challenges. You need to be explained in your introduction. After your introduction, after project, and I just want to explain the or I just want to introduce or I just want to be say about the some of the challenges which I have faced like so and so percentage will work. That will be work. So let me explain you. While you are explaining the challenges, you need to be consider these right side point. What was the situation? For that situation, what challenges you have faced? What is the step or action you have been taken on the top of the challenge? What is the result of the challenge? Okay, what is the result means outcome you found, and what is the prevention of it for any technical round, not only the client round. Please be follow this one. So I have faced the challenge like a performance issue. No, 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 not like that one. Situation you need to be tell. Okay. So and so specific amount of the time in a day. Let me go to next slide. There I have these information. You can see it. For example, I'm facing the high traffic during a peak hours is the situation. I'm facing the challenges like my API response time increased before the peak hours is 300 milliseconds. After the peak hours, 2.5 seconds. 2.5 seconds can be costlier sometime. Okay, or else just like earlier it was the half minute. In the peak hours, it is going more than a minute. What is the action I have taken here is I have taken the conducted performance profiling. I will explain you performance profilers for a UI developer in the upcoming sessions. I have used the performance profiling tools and I have found it so and so place the performance is causing. Okay, so yesterday's session I have shown you, right? Site reliability engineering, SREs, how the SREs are going to be debug the code without knowing the code because using the tools. So like that, there was a query we have been find. If you are a Java.NET developer, this point you are more clear. We have added the indexing caching layer, okay, coordinated with the DevOps for a scaling. Because of less server or less memory, sometimes if you have the more hits, more requested, server RAM memory was very less, definitely it will be slow. Coordinate with the DevOps team for the scaling. What was the result here? 250 milliseconds instead of 1 minute here. 1 minute to 250 milliseconds. Zero SLA. SLA breach. What is mean by SLA? Service legal agreement. For example, once you are taking any internet provider, right? Geo or Airtel, okay, we have the different internet providers. They will tell like us our download speed will be 30 Mbps to 50 Mbps, upload speed will be 25 Mbps to 100 Mbps. That is called service level agreement. They are going to be give to you. So same like this, the results 250 milliseconds came up to the service level agreement breach. See that much of response time has been decreased. So response time is decreased, your API will be fast. Simply at the end, prevention is what is the prevention to avoid such a type of issues before going for a QA or before going for a production. We have implemented performance monitoring alerts plus a load testing before release. That is the prevention. Are you clear? How to explain the challenge in the client round or a technical round? You need to take a situation, tell the situation, what was the challenge, what was the action, result of that action, and the prevention you have been taken. Okay, so let me tell you one more challenge. Anybody facing this challenge? Client requirement keep changing. So this time, everybody, please unmute yourself. Okay. Yeah, Ramesh.
Yeah, actually, in my project, actually, so when I start that project, after 2 sprints, they will change that requirement. Sometimes they will change that screens, actually. So that is issue, actually.
Yeah. So what is the impact? Simply, scope will
Uh,
increase, timeline will be
yes,
changed,
yes, yes,
production
yes.
deployment will be delay. Okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
definitely nowadays, this is one of the common question clients are asking or interviews are asking. Even though they are not asking, also you can answer. In general, what we will say. So maybe Ramesh, you can add some points or thoughts, thought process on top of this question. If the same question was asked. So client requirement keep changing. That is my challenge. What was the challenge? Definitely scope will be change. Timeline will change. But Scrum Master will say, no, no, I will not change the deployment date. You need to be complete work for a weekend. So such a situation, if you are a senior developer and you are monitoring some juniors team, you need to answer like conduct requirement workshop, create functional specification documents while you are development, introduce change implementation analysis, got formal sign off for any type. So this is the important point. For example, client will say to the Ramesh, Ramesh, please add the so and so feature also. Ramesh is committed. Okay, client, I will do it because of the rapport. Directly, we are connecting with the client. Instead, we need to connect it to our manager in the company, or we need to connect it to our manager. So say, give me a formal sign off. Because of this sign off, they will connect with the client and they will coordinate. If you are doing that one, it will be delay the production. Or if we are doing this one, we may face the change request cost because new issues will become. So because of this action, you can reduce rework by 40%. So how to prevent this one? While you are starting as a senior developer or a team lead roles, if you are going right, this is the common question. Implemented requirement of freezing process. For example, your delivery is for a 3 months. Okay, you need to be tell to the client 2 months is the development, 1 month is the freezing point, so that in the last 1 month the client will never ask for a change request because that is a frozen state. In the free state, they will not ask. Let me tell you one more challenge. Okay, these are the real-time challenges frequently asking. Okay, next. So with my experience, I have involved in the technical first level of interview, second level of interview, and then client interviews also. With that experience, I'm just collecting all this information and giving to you. But I will share this regarding also while you are going for a client round. Please be prepared 1 or 2 times using this video again and again. Okay, team? Next. So I'm doing some deployment failure. Production deployment was perfectly done, but user login failed. What was the issue? For example, you know Windows authentication, right? In the Windows authentication, you no need to use the credentials. On the Windows operating system, if you are opening a website, automatically we can redirect to a server page, something we can do and collect the Windows login credentials and then go for a home page. Now the system was deployed in a Unix mission or Linux mission. Take it as a Linux mission. What happened in the Linux mission? Windows authentication will work or not? In the Linux machine, Windows authentication will work or no?
Not, maybe
It will
not.
not work because
Never.
Windows authentication will work on the Windows login credentials once you are logged into the mission. Okay, so that is the problem here. So they given it 2 hours per deployment. 1 hour is completed. Second 1 hour, you have realized that you are using a DevOps. Earlier you are using a Windows IaaS deployment. Now you are using the DevOps. DevOps is running on a Linux machine. You have the one more 1 hour time. So what we need to do for that action? You need to be roll. You need to use the rollback strategy. Identify the environment config file changes. Fix it the CI/CD validation step. So these we need to be take care. There was another process we need to be integrate for this authentication process. Still on the Linux we can authenticate, but there was some process we need to be added. Some steps we need to be add for that authentication. So what was the result? System restored in 35 minutes. So what is the prevention action? Add pre-deployment environment verification. For example, you are going to be deploying a Linux machine. Instead, let us have the pre-deployment 1 day before and use the snapshot of the same environment, create in a lower environment. For that snapshot, try to deploy. You can notice that one.
Like a runway, test runway.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So if you are doing the pre-deployment, which is the replicate of the production, right? Simply using the same snapshot. In terms of the DevOps, we are calling it the snapshot, nothing but the copy of operating system. The snapshot, you are going to do the same deployment. Then you will notice before one day means you have the so much of time to fix that issue instead disturbing the production. Okay, so such a challenges we need to add at least one or two challenges. Please be prepared even in the introduction yourself, and then definitely roles and responsibility to be clear you need to add and challenge I have faced. Okay, any questions on these challenges? And anybody wants to add any challenge you have been faced? Definitely in the working professionals we may face so many challenges, at least one or two challenges. Okay, next. So in the interview, specifically in the client round interview, so why I'm stretching the client round? Client round means you need to impress the client. You need to propose the client you are the best fit for that position. Once they impress, right, they will wait for until you join or no. Even they will wait for 2 months or 3 months. Am I correct? So once you proposed, because the way you are answering, because see one thing in the client round, definitely clients mostly from the different locations, USA, Australia, different locations. Instead of we impressing, they will impress us. I mean, they will say like, for example, let me take Venkatesh name. So Venkatesh, super, you have did well. Oh, great, great. They will use the terms called great. Instead of we are impressing, they will impress us. What we are thinking, right? Oh, client was very satisfied. Definitely they will give. So the client will give the same type of operation for everybody. If the client is taking the 10 interviews for 10 people, they will say, oh, very great, great. You did that one. Oh, super, super. But the client will note down all the points. They see all the three levels. How you are thinking, how you are executing, how you are production. Okay. So what not to say in the client interviews? This is the important one. So team made mistake. So I have fixed the so and so issue which other teammates are implemented. For example, I have before I joining the company, before I join in the past company, example, the teams did some mistakes which causing the performance issue. Don't add any mistake because no software will have the 100%. Any software can work 100%? No. The guaranteed result of software is 99%. Okay. So don't blame on any teammate. If they ask any related thing, sometimes we may say like, we didn't know. Don't say that one. Did you, while you're explaining one healthcare project, okay, you have worked for a doctor's module, okay, the client know about how laboratories module is working. They ask, did you get a chance to work with the laboratory module also? Simply don't say like, I didn't get a chance to work on that laboratory mod. Don't say like that one. Chance will never come. You need to explain at least some information. You should have some information of your project. Am I clear? Here, let me explain you again. The client will ask like, you are presenting a one clinic healthcare related project. In that project, you have worked for the doctor appointment, all this module. In general, that having the one more module, laboratory module. The client wants to asking about, did you work on the laboratory module and do you know how it will be work? Sometimes the perfect answers is, I didn't get a chance to work on that module. Don't say. Better to have some information of all the modules in your project, which is required. because they will think like if you don't know that module tomorrow, if any integration come here, how you are going to work on that module. Okay. So yesterday I told you, right? Don't skip the question by cleverness. You should be clear for answer. Okay. And you must add these things like I took ownership. We identify the root cause. I introduce preventive controls. Okay. So that is the reason I just added here. Senior professionals are not judged by the absence of problems, but by the quality of their response. The quality of response is very important. Okay. So these are the roles and responsibilities, challenges you need to be attend, and they will test your deployment and DevOps awareness. Just simple awareness, not in detailed information. Everybody know. Everybody know, right? In the company, we're having a separate DevOps team. They are going to be work and separate DevOps team. They are going to be build it, deploy it. Even though you should have the knowledge on this one. Okay, so how the simply they will check CI/CD pipeline familiarity and a branching strategy. This must know because as a developer, we are going to be checking our code. Am I correct? We are going to be checking our code. You need to know the branching strategy. How the master branch from the master branch, development branch is created for one release. Development branch to feature branch, how it was created and how it is maintained. That is important. Next, release management. Next, a rollback strategy. Rollback strategy, as a senior person, you must know it. Something was failing in the production. We should have the rollback strategy. Some library is failing in the production. What is the strategy? For example, npm uninstall. Okay, while going for a, you are using some new library in the React.js. In general, we will give npm install library name, correct? And you need to be give one more information also, or the file or something that need to be state npm uninstall so on so. Are you clear? We need to be give those also. Next, we be clear on the environment configuration file for a environment dot dev environment dot production environment dot qa. Next, feature flags. If you are building any feature which is going to be doing a next release, such a feature flags you need to be add it. I mean, which this one is not important. Next, monitoring the post deployment. So these are come under the deployments and DevOps awareness. You must have information and you need to be explained. So simply don't say like I have not been worked and I have not been involved. You need to explain so and so CI/CD pipeline and branching strategy. What is the must have here? Branching strategy, rollback strategy, environment configurations. These are the must have, remaining are good to have. Okay. So sometimes in the production, they will ask this question. If something production broken at 2 a.m., what you will do? So we are thinking to start in the product in the client round. Don't be think we be prepared for a few questions before it. So something was broken. What is the initial step, right? We are going to be at the log environment or cloud watches. Those are going to be watch our deployment process. Any issues are coming, we have integrated to the email and messaging tool. P1 team will be reported as a developer. Developer will not be in the P1 team. The deployment persons, DevOps persons will be in the P1 team. So they will be notify us. That is what the process is going. So such a way we need to be answered. Hope everybody is clear on this slide. Can I go for next? Okay. While you are answering any question, it should be mapped to production thinking and war room maturity. But this is like more over the theoretical part, but this was the important in the interviews. Because of these things, we may have the gap which causes the failure. Okay. So while we are going for a production and a war room maturity, they will test it. They are going to be test on this one. How you are going to be think on this production level and war room maturity. What is mean by war room? Something was broken in the production. We will sit for 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, but not complete a day, 24 hours, maybe 10 hours, 12 hours. Correct? Anybody involved or face this war room situation? Okay, few or 1 or 2 members are saying yes. Yeah, definitely. Sometimes we may face this war room situation. Okay, so the root cause analysis, handling escalations, cross team collaborations, SLA awareness. Sometime back we have discussed risk mitigation approach, observability mindset. So all these are required. We are going for an interview simply preparing for a few topics on the internet or YouTube or somewhere, which is not enough for evaluating. So clients loves few people. The client need to be love your approach. Clients love engineers who talk about prevention more than fixing. All this terminology is very important to crack the client interview. Okay. So simply, if you have the 3 months notice period, also first complete the technical rounds. I will help you. Next, go for a client round. All these things you need to be at. Okay, so as a senior, few of the points you must know about the stakeholder communication. They will ask sometimes, did you work with stakeholder? Stakeholder is nothing but a business persons. This is one of the common question. Did you get a chance to work with a business stakeholder? Don't say no. Say yes and be prepared for that question they will ask. Next, say about the requirement clarification. If any ambiguity will come, how you are going to be handled. So already I told you in the previous sessions while we were discussing in the first session, any ambiguity. Okay, simply say like a approach can have the multiple solution. It depends on the project. It depends on the framework used in the project. Okay, you need to be give in a clarity way. Needs of the project and the team needs. Okay. So ownership under pressure, they are going to be checked. So next, if you are a senior person, they will check your how you are monitoring the teams. Simply don't say like I'm going to give the task, they will work or not. I'm going to be checked. No, you need to be monitor in the sense you need to be guide how you are going to be guide, how you are going to be assign all these things. So finally, these are the 5 pillar client evaluation. So here it is my last slide I'm explaining. Please be focused. So what are the 5 pillars? They will be check the technical strength. First level of interviews, they will be checked. Architectural thinking. Second level of interview and the client will check. Deployment and production awareness must have it. Awareness, not in detail. Next, ownership and communication is very important. While you are talking, say like I own so and so module to build this one. Next, business alignment requirement. Next, client expectations management. How you are doing for that client or how you are working for a so and so business implementation. So I'm saying senior engineers are not evaluated on code quality, they are evaluated on decision quality. So in the interview, they're going to be checked on how you are going to be give a perfect decisions. So in the interview on the spot, we may not able to give it. That is the reason we should be prepared for Some questions they are going to be asked by a list of 10 or 20 questions. For that questions, not only the answers, you should be give in that way what I have explained till now. So any questions?